Hi everyone, this is Tejaswini. As in last lecture we have discussed many concepts and mechanisms related to carbohydrate, and one more important concept I think which is important, which is fibers. Actually there are three types of fibers. First is high molecular weight fiber, low molecular weight fiber, and last one is the resistant starches. Again, high molecular weight fibers are divided into two parts, which are insoluble fibers and soluble fibers. Insoluble fibers means these fibers are insoluble in water, and soluble fibers are soluble in water. I will draw here tree diagram of fiber classification. These are three types of fibers. First is high molecular weight fibers. Next is low molecular weight fiber, and last one is resistant starches. These high molecular weight fibers again distributed in two parts. First is insoluble and soluble. Insoluble means not soluble in water, and these are soluble in water. These are soft ones. Soluble fibers are soft ones. These are tough ones. These are hard to chew, and these are easy to chew. Examples of these low molecular insoluble and soluble fibers are, suppose insoluble are, as in last videos we have discussed these examples in detail, which are cellulose, pectin, again insoluble pentosan, insoluble, actually this pectin insoluble. There are two types of pectin, which are soluble pectin and insoluble pectin. This one is insoluble pectin. And beta glucan, as examiner asks source of beta glucan, there is one important source which is oat bran, remember this. But beta glucan, which is insoluble, found in yeast and mold. Beta glucan found in yeast and mold is insoluble one, while beta glucan found in cereals are soluble one. Here I will write examples of soluble, which are beta glucan found in cereals, and then next is gums present in nature like guar gum, then cassia, then locust bean gum, and carrageenan. An important term, Irish moss. Remember this term, Irish moss. Here I will write. It's another name for carrageenan. Irish moss. Then low molecular weight fibers are inulin. As in last video I told you, it is a polysaccharide made up of fructose monosaccharide and fructose oligosaccharide, galactose oligosaccharide. These are the examples of low molecular weight, and polydextrose. These are examples of low molecular weight fiber. And resistant starches are divided into four parts, four types. I will tell you. First type is physically inaccessible starches. Four types. Here I will right. There are 4 types of resistant starches. First is resistant starch type 1, which is physically inaccessible starches, which are mostly inaccessible starches found in cereals, and RS2, which are resistant starch granules, mostly found in potato and unripe banana. And third type of resistant starch is retrograded starch. Important one, retrograded starch. It means when we cook starch and then cooling, that starch converted into again crystalline form, and that form is known as retrogradation. So here these starches, after cooling, cooked starches, digestible starches convert into indigestible resistant starches. And fourth type of resistant starch is chemically modified starch. Which type of resistant starch is also known as man-made resistant starch, RS4, which is chemically modified. And example of that starch is acid modified starch. Is we have discussed this acid modified starch in previous lecture. Modified starch, when we suspend starch molecules in dilute acidic solution like hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid, these starch converts into hydrolyzed starch product, and that process is known as thin boiling of starches. So these are man-made starches. And retrograded starch examples are potato and rice. See, these resistant starches escapes digestion as humans cannot metabolize them, and there are 3 types. First 3 types, which are physically inaccessible starches, then resistant starch granules, and retrograded starches. These first 3 types can be fermented by gut microbiota in large intestine. And what happens in small intestine? In small intestine, resistant starches do not release glucose. Therefore, glucose level in blood is reduced. You'll have it right. In small intestine, what happens? Resistant starches do not release glucose. Therefore, blood glucose level is reduced. Therefore, blood glucose level is reduced. And in large intestine, microbiota digest or ferment that resistant starches and release short chain fatty acids. As in last video, I told you how short chain fatty acids have positive impact on our health in large intestine. RS release short chain fatty acids after fermentation. And these short chain fatty acids are rapidly metabolized in colon by epithelial cells, and I will write here. In colon, epithelial cells metabolize that short chain fatty acids, and it helps to reduce fat storage by increasing fat burning. So remember this. Now I will tell you how retrogradation is different from gelatinization. These two are confusing terms. As in gelatinization, I told you in last lecture, what is gelatinization? Gelatinization is the swelling of starch granule until it lose by refrigerants. Here I will write gelatinization. And retrogradation. See, in gelatinization, hydrogen bonds broken, while in retrogradation, hydrogen bond is formed. Hydrogen bond is formed between amylose and amylopectin. Amylose and amylopectin polysaccharide molecules. Due to a hydrogen bond, retrograded product becomes crystalline. Product becomes crystalline. And in gelatinization, as hydrogen bonds are broken, this product becomes, or gel becomes amorphous. Product becomes amorphous. This polymer network here in gelatinization, polymer network absorbs water, while in retrogradation, polymer network release water. Remember these 3 points.